A city drowning in rain and apathy. This is the world of Detective Somerset, a man just 1 week away from retirement. He's seen it all, or so he thinks. His last case introduces him to his replacement, the young, impulsive Detective Mills. Together, they stumble upon a crime scene so grotesque it defies all logic. A man morbidly obese has been forced to eat himself to death. On the wall, a single word is scrawled in grease: gluttony. This isn't just a murder, it's a statement. The first of 7. Somerset, with his weary wisdom, realizes they're not just hunting a killer. They're hunting a preacher, a self-styled messiah delivering sermons through meticulously planned acts of horror. The city's darkness isn't just a backdrop, it's the killer's canvas. Their next discovery is even more disturbing. A wealthy defense attorney found in his pristine office. The word on the carpet, written in blood, is greed. The victim was forced to cut off a pound of his own flesh. The killer, who they start calling John Doe, is orchestrating a grand, macabre performance with the entire city as his unwilling audience. He's not just killing people. He's forcing them to embody their sins in their final agonizing moments. Somerset dives into religious texts, studying Dante's Inferno and Aquinas, trying to understand the mind behind this divine retribution. He warns Mills that this isn't a typical criminal. John Doe believes he is on a mission from God, a righteous crusade to cleanse a world wallowing in sin. He is patient, intelligent, and completely convinced of his own moral superiority. The third victim represents Sloth, a drug dealer and predator found strapped to his bed, barely alive after a full year of atrophy. The killer had kept him there, slowly wasting away, a living monument to idleness. This level of planning, this long-term commitment to cruelty, sends a chill down Somerset's spine. John Doe is always 10 steps ahead, a phantom moving through the city's underbelly. As the body count rises, each crime becomes more elaborate. Lust, a man forced to use a horrific, bladed device on a prostitute. Pride, a beautiful model given the choice to call for help and live with a disfigured face or end her own life. She chose the latter. Each victim is judged, tested, and ultimately consumed by their own vice. The killer is forcing society to look in the mirror, to confront the ugliness it prefers to ignore. Mills, fueled by anger and a desperate need for justice, throws himself headfirst into the case. He's the perfect foil to Somerset's cautious intellectualism. While Somerset pores over books in the library, Mills is on the streets, kicking down doors. It's this impulsive energy that gets them their first real lead. They trace library records of someone studying the 7 deadly sins and raid John Doe's apartment. What they find is a shrine to obsession. Thousands of notebooks filled with meticulous handwriting, detailing his philosophy and plans. Photos of his victims. It's the lair of a true believer, a man who sees himself not as a monster, but as a surgeon cutting away the city's cancer. But John Doe is there. A firefight erupts, and he almost kills Mills before disappearing back into the shadows, leaving them with more questions than answers. And then, the unthinkable happens. John Doe, his face battered and bloody, walks into the police station and surrenders. "Detective," he says calmly, "he has a proposition. He will confess to everything and lead them to the final 2 bodies, but only if Somerset and Mills personally escort him to a specific, undisclosed location. The 2 sins left are envy and wrath. Against their better judgment, they agree. The drive out into the barren desert is thick with tension. John Doe, sitting in the back of the car, finally begins to talk. He's not a raving lunatic. He's articulate, intelligent, almost charming in his terrifying conviction. He talks about the apathy of the world, how his work is necessary to get people's attention. He explains that he didn't just choose his victims randomly. He chose people who were living embodiments of sin. He then turns his attention to Mills. He speaks of Mills's ordinary life, his happy home, his loving wife, Tracy. He envies it. He admits it. "I envy your normal life," he says. A cold dread begins to settle in Somerset's stomach. John Doe's envy. But who is wrath? They arrive at the designated spot, a desolate patch of land under a web of power lines. A delivery van approaches. The driver delivers a single, blood-stained cardboard box to Somerset. John Doe watches Mills, a faint, knowing smile on his face. He tells Mills that he paid a visit to his home, that he wanted a souvenir. "I took your wife's pretty little head," he whispers. Time stops. Somerset screams at Mills not to open the box, to stay calm, but it's too late. The truth of what's inside, the horror of it, washes over Mills's face. John Doe continues his taunt, revealing that Tracy was pregnant. He has become the sin of envy, and now he is goading Mills into becoming the final piece of his masterpiece. Wrath. Somerset pleads with his partner. "If you kill him," he cries, "he will win." For a moment, it seems like Mills might listen. The gun in his hand trembles. He looks from John Doe's smug face to Somerset's desperate one. But the grief, the rage, it's too much. The world dissolves into a singular, blinding need for vengeance. A shot rings out. Then another. And another. Mills empties the clip into John Doe, completing the killer's 7-part sermon. John Doe dies with a smile on his face. He has won. He has proven his point that sin is in everyone, even a good man, just waiting for the right push. In the end, Somerset is left alone, the setting sun casting long shadows over the desert. His last week on the job has shattered his cynical worldview, replacing it with something far bleaker. Ernest Hemingway once wrote, "The world is a fine place and worth fighting for." I agree with the second part. He chooses to stay on the force to fight, not because he believes he can win, but because in a world so full of darkness, someone has to hold the light. The cycle of sin continues, but so does the fight against it. Thanks for watching.
Hey everyone, quick question for you. Did you know that over 95% of the people who watch our videos aren't actually subscribed to the channel? We totally get it. Life gets super busy, and hitting that subscribe button is probably the last thing on your mind. But here's the thing, subscribing is completely free, and it is the single best way to support us and help us keep making the content you love to watch. It literally takes just 1 second to click, but it makes a massive difference for us. So, if you're enjoying what you see, please consider hitting that subscribe button and joining our awesome community. It would mean the world to us. Thank you so much for your support, and we'll see you in the next video.